Hey everyone, Lance here. Welcome to my wireless headphone group review video, where today I'll be reviewing several wireless headphones from Sennheiser as well as one by Sony. And my goal is that by the end of you watching this video, that you'll know which one of these headphones would be the best fit for you, which one you'd enjoy the most, and ultimately have the best experience with based on what's most important to you. Now do check below for any other important information about these headphones. I'll include the individual review video links, as well as where you can purchase each of these headphones at for the best price. Next, I want to talk about sound leakage. What I'll do is I'll basically order them in terms of which one leaked the least amount of sound and which one leaked the most amount of sound. So the one that leaked the least amount of sound is the RS170. These are incredible in terms of being a really quiet headphone around other people. You have to basically blast these at, to me personally, an unlistenable volume before others around you are going to hear what you're listening to. And then coming in last place would be the RS180. Now these are open headphones, so while this does wonderful things to the sound quality, it means you're going to leak a lot of sound. And even at very quiet volumes, people can still hear what you're listening to. Next up is battery life, and as you can see, you get up to 24 hours, possibly up to 25 hours in the case of the Sonys. But realistically, I found you definitely should get at least 20 hours. It's going to depend, of course, on what you're listening to and how loud you're listening to it. For the wireless range and signal, I'll first start with the frequency. With the frequency, there's two types. We have the 900 megahertz, which you have for the Sony RS20. This is a radio frequency. The nice thing about radio frequency is it travels through walls and ceilings really well. The downside is you get more interference and static. And that's the difference you find with the RS160, 170, and 180 is you get crystal clear transmission. You don't get that static or interference. So you automatically get that. You don't have to tune for it like you do with the RS120 and the Sony. Again, you have to tune in that channel just like you would a radio channel, where you have to get it just right so you're not getting that static or that interference. The weight of these headphones is relatively similar. The Sonys are definitely the heaviest. Next, I want to talk about the comfort of these headphones, and I'll start with the RS120 by Sennheiser. Now, as you can see, these are on-ear headphones, which means they just basically rest on your ear, versus all the other headphones in this review, they are over-ear or around-ear headphones. Now, when you first put these on, I find them to be quite comfortable, and pretty much comfortable throughout watching, say, a movie. So an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even 2.5 hours. Now, the Sonys I found to be more comfortable between the two, and as you can see, these are around-ear or over-ear headphones. So with these headphones, I found I was able to wear all day long. I mean, they're really quite comfortable. They are a bigger headphone. They weigh more, and so they feel a little bit heavier in that sense. But just because of the way the padding is, large, thick padding, and it's not very compressive, so meaning it doesn't press hard against your head. So I found these to be really comfortable. Next, I have the 160s here by Sennheiser. And these also, when you first put them on, I find to be very comfortable. The padding they use on the ear cups is very comfortable. That does a really nice job. However, what I found is that over time, discomfort starts to build. So after a couple hours of use, I find I do want to take these off. They just start to compress a little bit against the head. So for me personally, I don't find these to be all-day use type of headphones, unless I give my head a break, for like 10-15 minutes, and then I can put them back on again, and I'm good to go. Regarding the 170s by Sennheiser, these also feel really comfortable when you first put them on. The ear padding, again, very comfortable. Feels great wearing these on the head. I found these to be more comfortable than the 160s. However, I did notice it gets a little bit uncomfortable up here where the headband presses against the head after a few hours of use. It's not terribly uncomfortable, but I found I may want to shift either the headband a little bit or just give my head a break. So more comfortable than the 160s, but just not quite still an all-day headphone where I could wear without any discomfort. Now the 180s here, these are supremely comfortable. A couple reasons. One, just the clamping force is just perfect, I find. It does form this nice fit, snug fit on the head, but it's not so compressive feeling where you get that discomfort where the ear pads start to push against the head. The other thing is these ear pads are this nice velour ear cups here, and they're so comfortable. They're extremely comfortable. In fact, this is one of the most comfortable headphones I've used and worn. I can literally wear these all day long without any discomfort. In fact, even though they They're not what I'd consider a light headphone. They're not really a heavy headphone per se either, but there'll be times where I kind of forget I'm wearing them, which is really rare for me to say that about headphones, especially around ear headphones. So from a comfort standpoint, these are, again, I use the word supremely comfortable, blissfully comfortable. They're just fantastic. Now, nice thing about the way Sennheiser designed the headphones with the RS, the 160, the 170, the 180, is these ear pads actually just twist off. And so what you can do, for example, let's say you wanted to use the velour ear cup with the 160 or 170, they're just basically interchangeable. And so now you have the velour ear cups on your 170. So if you want that nice supreme comfort that these velour ear cups and ear pads give you, you can just go ahead and purchase the ear pads by themselves to put on your 170 or your 160, and that affects the comfort tremendously. So it's a really cool feature. It's something I want you to be aware of, but just I also want to give you just my out-of-the-box impressions, meaning without changing the ear cups around, what's the level of comfort for each of these headphones. So bottom line, again, if you're trying to keep your budget under $100 and you want the best comfort, I would definitely go with the Sonys. If your budget allows you to choose between the 160, the 170, or the 180, and you want the most comfortable headphone, I'd definitely go with the 180. So next I'll talk about the sound quality of these headphones. One thing is you really can't go wrong with any of these in terms of the sound quality. They all do a really nice job and they really hold their own, meaning at their given price point, they're a good value, they do a good job. However, what you'll notice is that as you go up in price, the sound quality improves and gets better. So as far as some specific nuances about each of these, with the Sonys, I would describe them as good sounding wireless headphones for the price. You have enough bass as well as detail in the mids and highs to bring movies and music alive. Again, they do a really nice job and it's a good value for the money. With the RS120s, I would describe these as being slightly better than the Sonys. The mids and highs are a little more detailed, which sounds great with music and causes movies to sound a little more lifelike. There's also plenty of bass to really round out the sound experience, but not too much to overpower everything else. So if you want to spend less than $100 and you want the best sound quality possible, I would definitely go with the RS120s. So with the RS160, what you'll notice is you get a little bit more detail in the mids and highs. The bass sounds a little bit richer and fuller compared to both the RS120 and of course the Sonys. So one question is it worth the extra money just from a sound quality perspective? Absolutely. It's not what I would call a massive improvement in sound quality, but there's certainly enough there. I think that most people would certainly notice a difference. And I think for even just the average consumer, average listener, you'd find it a worthwhile investment. With the RS160, you definitely hit that threshold where movies and music really start to come alive and sound exciting. It sounds good with the RS120, but it really, like I said, it just hits that threshold, that tipping point, so to speak, where it's exciting. It sounds really, really nice. Now regarding the RS170s, these are what I would consider the perfect movie headphone. So for movies, for TV, they sound phenomenal. And again, you can refer to my individual review video for more information or an explanation about that, but they do such a great job. The mids and the highs are very detailed. The bass also is a bit richer and fuller even compared to the RS160. So you do get a little bit of an improvement there. Both with music and with movies, there is a noticeable, discernible improvement. It's more lifelike, there's more engagement. It's not as dramatic of an improvement from the 120 to the 160, but definitely noticeable still. The other thing that the 170s have going for them is they have two different modes. There's a surround mode and a extra bass mode. And both of these do a good job. They're not something that I think everyone would want to use all the time for everything they listen to. But what I found is particularly with movies, there are movies where the surround effect added a little bit to the experience, made it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more of a immersive type of experience. Likewise with the bass. It's not this huge overabundance of bass, but it's just enough extra to bring genres of music that benefit from extra bass alive a little bit more, and especially movies, the same thing. So I found that to be the case with action movies or anything where there's great bass in it. Tron's an example. Watching that with the RS170s and that extra bass really sounded awesome. Now looking at the sound quality of the RS180s, they are amazing. In my mind, they really come alive most with music. They're an open headphone, so you get that nice open sound. But the details, the crispness of the highs, the details of the mids, the nice refined bass, it is phenomenal sounding. Really, really incredible. So if you're primarily going to be using the headphones for music and you want the best possible sound quality wise, absolutely get the RS180s. I mean, it is worth every penny. It is a perfect investment from a sound quality standpoint. So comparing the RS180 to the RS170, you do get a more natural open sound and a better defined bass. Also, you have the balance controls, meaning you can turn up left and right individually. So this is great if you have, say, some hearing loss in one ear and you want to balance out the sound a little bit. You can definitely do that with the RS180s, which you can't with the RS170s. Now, if you're, again, primarily looking at using these for movies, I would still look at getting the RS170s. If it's split between movies and music, maybe say 50-50, in my mind it's not as clear. The RS180s still sound incredible for movies. I really love watching them with movies as well. But the RS170s do have the surround mode and the bass mode, so I might look at the types of movies you watch. You know, if it's things more like romantic comedies or, you know, more inspirational type movies where there's dialogue and there's that kind of great background music, but you're not necessarily watching as many action-oriented movies that might benefit from that extra bass and so forth, then you know what, I may lean more towards the RS180s, especially if it's okay to have an open headphone that leaks sound. You'll have a really enjoyable listening experience there. So again, it kind of depends, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in my wrap-up and final thoughts section. But from a sound quality standpoint, if you want the best of the best, definitely get the RS180s. It's worth every penny. It's amazing value. However, if you're primarily going to be watching movies with these headphones, I would still go ahead and lean towards the RS170s. So now I'd like to go ahead and wrap things up with my recommendation about these different headphones, help you figure out and determine which one of these is going to be the best fit for you. So first off, I think if you want to spend less than $100, you're looking at the Sony or the RS120. In my mind, it really comes down to comfort and sound quality. If comfort's most important, go for the Sonys. You're going to get several hours to all day comfort versus the RS120s. To me, it was more about, you know, getting a movie and a little bit more. So maybe 2.5 hours of comfort before I wanted to give my head a rest from wearing them. Now, if sound quality is most important though, go with the RS120s. You get more detail in the mids and the highs. They still do a good job with the lows, as do the Sonys. The lows are a little better refined with the RS120. Overall, the whole music and movie experience was a little more lifelike, a little more engaging to it. The Sony had a little bit more of a laid-back, warmer sound. So by comparison, the RS120s definitely stood out as being the better sounding headphone and giving the better sounding experience overall. In terms of ease of use and which one has the better reception or clear signal, they both were able to get a clear signal. However, for me personally, I found the Sonys were a little bit easier to tune them, kind of like tuning a radio station. It's that same kind of experience. So you still find some static will creep in, or just like with a radio station, occasionally that can happen. Likewise with these. So they're not perfect that way, but I found the Sonys slightly easier in my experience. Your situation may be different. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that necessarily. I would, again, look more at the comfort and the sound quality and really use those to help guide you which one's going to be the best fit for you. One other factor is just the overall kind of look and feel. The Sennheisers do have a slimmer, sleeker look. They're lighter on the head to wear compared to the Sonys. They definitely feel bigger and bulkier on the head. So if that's an important consideration, you may want to factor that into your decision as well. Now, maybe initially you were in a position where you were considering the Sony or the RS120, but now you're actually thinking about, does it make sense to upgrade to, say, the RS160? I would say absolutely yes. If you can afford to do so, the increase in sound quality alone makes it worth the extra money. The mids and the highs are more detailed. They come alive a little bit more. You even get a little bit richer, fuller bass experience with the RS160. Another benefit is, of course, the comfort. I found that the RS160s were a lot more comfortable than the RS120s. And of course, they're over-ear headphones, which makes a big difference, but much more comfortable. Also, you have the clear technology with the RS160s. That means you're getting a wired sound, even though these are wireless headphones. So you don't have to worry about tuning anything. You get a perfect, clear, static-free, interference-free signal every time. That also could be worth the extra price. And if you want headphones that you can take with you for portable use, that's another benefit of the RS160. Now, if you're in a position where you know you want the RS160, 170, or 180, and you're trying to decide between the three, here's what you want to think about. With the RS160, the big deciding factor there is portability. So you have that wireless or portable transmitter base that you can take with you. So it's great for commuting, even if you want to use it around the home. I found I was using these all the time because I was attaching them to my computer, and then my iPod. I was laying in bed listening to music or watching a movie, and then I was taking them downstairs and quickly plugging them into the TV. They were just so easy and convenient to use that way. And of course, you could take them to work with you, or again, commuting to work or anything like that, or for travel. They work so well as portable headphones. Now, if you don't necessarily need portability, but what's most important to you is having headphones that you can use to watch movies with, maybe TV, also listen to music. But if most of what you're doing is listening to movies, then I would definitely get the RS170s. They sound amazing for movies. And again, you can refer to my individual review for any of these for more detailed information if that's helpful for you. But they sound so alive, so lifelike with movies. The mids, the lows, and the highs are phenomenal. And then you also have the surround mode to give you kind of that simulated surround effect, which definitely helps with some movies, and I really enjoyed it. Likewise with the bass, you have an extra bass button there to give you a little bit more oomph in the low end if you like it. Again, I found for some genres of music, I absolutely loved it and preferred it, like for dance, electronic, hip hop, any of that. When I was watching Tron, the extra bass really brought that movie alive and just made it more engaging. It gave it a little bit more thump, a little bit more low end to the experience. So I really enjoyed that. Also, just comparing the music listening experience from the RS170 to RS160, it is a little bit better. You get a little bit more refinement in the mids and the highs. Also, the low end is a little bit deeper and richer with the RS170s. So even from a music standpoint, if you're just trying to compare the two on that alone, I would definitely go with the RS170s. And then finally, we have the RS180s. And what makes them so great is the fact that they sound so awesome and they are so amazingly comfortable. For the money, they're one of the best sounding headphones I've listened to, and they are easily one of the most comfortable headphones I've worn. So to keep things simple, if you want the best sounding headphones and you want the most comfortable headphones, go with the RS180s. Now, one thing to keep in mind though is they are an open headphone. So that means they leak a lot of sound. And it's really easy to hear the sound. Even if you turn the volume down, you can still pretty easily hear. So if you're like someone's laying down next to you, they're going to hear what you're listening to. So if sound leakage is the more important issue there, or a deciding factor, definitely go with the RS170s. They hardly leak any music, meaning you have to crank those headphones up to just about full volume before you'll start hearing any sound leak out of them. But at the end of the day, if that's kind of tough to figure out, okay, I'm not sure what I like more open or what I like more closed in, type of an experience, look at some of the other things like comfort. Do you want headphones that you can wear all day long? Go with the 180s. Is sound leakage an issue? Don't go with the 180s. Go with the 170s or maybe the 160s. Is portability important? If not, go with the 170s. You get the better sound quality. You get the awesome movie experience. They're more comfortable. And then, of course, you can also interchange all the ear cups. So if you really like the 170s, but you wish you could get the velour ear cups like the 180s, you can. Just purchase those separately, switch them out, and you're good to go. So I know I just gave you a lot of information there, but I want you to feel confident about which one of these would be the best fit for you, which one's going to give you that, exciting experience where you get them, you use them, and you love them. And so that's what I want for you. If there was something that I didn't address or didn't address fully enough, leave a comment below and I'll definitely try to answer that as best I can. So hopefully this review was helpful for you. If so, leave a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. And definitely check below, again, for the individual review videos to each of these headphones if you're interested. Also, any other additional updates or information. And, of course, where you can purchase these at for the best price. But otherwise, thanks for your time. I appreciate you guys watching. And hopefully I'll see you in another video.